So we can extend this idea of possession, like in to spiti tu, with other nouns, like in to spiti tu Yorgu or to spiti tu Michali. And we've seen that with the feminine as well, using tis and an s on the end of the noun. To spiti tis Marias, to spiti tis Filis mu, imeres tis evdomadas, the days of the week. We can also do something similar with the neuter singular. What was the child?
To παιδί.
To παιδί. You remember how to say teacher?
Δάσκαλος.
Daskalos. How would you say the child of the teacher, the teacher's child?
Το παιδί του δασκάλου.
Very good. To παιδί του δασκάλου. So there we move the accent. We have daskalos and then daskalu. So we saw how this occurs when we add u to longer nouns, but not just with longer nouns. We notice that the original accent is third from the end on daskalos. So when we have that situation, that u can pull the accent towards it, to daskalu. To παιδί tu daskalu. And we also had daskala for the feminine. So how would you say the child of the female teacher?
Το παιδί της δασκάλας.
Very good. To παιδί tis daskalas. Tu pediu means of the child. So we have to παιδί, which is neuter, and then tu pediu, of the child.
Του παιδιού.
What do you notice about the accent here?
The poo is stressed, not the e.
Good. So actually, in both cases, we have the accent on the end, just it moves. To παιδί, tu pediu. The toy is παιχνίδι,
Παιχνίδι.
and that's neuter. To παιχνίδι, to παιχνίδι.
Το παιχνίδι.
So how would you say the child's toy, the toy of the child?
Το παιχνίδι του παιδιού.
Good. To παιχνίδι του παιδιού. How would you say my child's toy, my child's toy?
Το παιχνίδι του παιδιού μου.
Good. To παιχνίδι του παιδιού μου. How do you think of the toy might be?
Του παιχνιδιού.
Yes, it also takes the accent on the end there, του παιχνιδιού. Του παιχνιδιού. So we have παιχνίδι with the accent on ni, παιχνίδι, and then του παιχνιδιού. So maybe you could say something like, this is from your child's toy. Maybe you find a piece of something and you say, this is from your child's toy. How would that be?
Αυτό είναι του παιχνιδιού του παιδιού σου.
Very good. Very good. So this, you use the neuter because, you know, this piece of something we will find, we will say αυτό. Αυτό είναι του παιχνιδιού του παιδιού σου. Αυτό είναι του παιχνιδιού του παιδιού σου. But you can feel that's kind of complicated, no? So we might also just say this is from the toy, actually using the word for from. Αυτό είναι apto or apoto παιχνίδι. We would probably do that just because it requires much less glucose, you know? Αυτό είναι από το παιχνίδι του παιδιού σου. But you have the option, of course. How was the book? Do you remember the book?
Το βιβλίο.
Το βιβλίο. Of the book might be?
Του βιβλίου.
It's what you would think, no? Going from το παιδί to του παιδιού. Παιχνίδι, παιχνιδιού. But no, το βιβλίο becomes του βιβλίου. So we don't have the accent on the U, but just before. So there's a slightly different pattern here. Now you have to παιδί, but then to βιβλίο. They have the accent in the same place, but βιβλίο has an O. So when you notice differences like this, just try to look around, see if you can find a pattern, see if you can identify one, and don't worry about memorizing these things, because the fact that you're thinking about it, just trying to find the pattern, this is what's going to work your memory, not the act of memorizing. And when you start using Greek and you hear tu βιβλίου and you don't hear tu βιβλίου, there's only a couple of times you can say it without it sounding weird to you and setting the alarm off. So here we have tu βιβλίου, of the book. You could say the theme of the book. Theme is the same word in Greek, and it ends me, like one of those me words, like πρόβλημα. So how might that be, the theme of the book?
Το θέμα του βιβλίου.
Very good. Το θέμα, το, because it ends me, like το χρώμα, το πρόβλημα, το θέμα του βιβλίου, the theme of the book. So accent can be very particular in Greek. And if you really want a native feel to your Greek, it's something you have to pay special attention to. So these are the main patterns, no, to achieve this of, meaning το σπίτι του Γιώργου, το σπίτι της Μαρίας, το σπίτι του παιδιού. But you may find other patterns too. Like of the problem, for example, is του προβλήματος. And of the course, not of course, no, of the course. So το μάθημα becomes του μαθήματος. So as I said, you should listen out and try to make your own patterns. Find what things have in common. So what does πρόβλημα and μάθημα have in common?
3 syllables. The first is stressed.
That's true. But we've also seen many other words that have that don't do this. And there's something much more obvious that makes these
They also have the ma.
good. So we go, oh, did I find a pattern? We have του προβλήματος. We have του μαθήματος. Maybe I found the pattern. So I want to find another ma word to check it. So can you think of another ma word?
Πρόγραμμα.
Programma. And then we can check, how do we say of the program? And if it's του προγράμματος, which it is, then we found the pattern. We have το χρώμα, the color. So of the color might be
Του χρώματος.
του χρώματος. Good, it is του χρώματος. So we had δάσκαλος or δάσκαλα for teacher. How would we say the children of the teacher? And we mean a female teacher.
Τα παιδιά της δασκάλας.
Very good. Τα παιδιά της δασκάλας. And how would you say the children of this teacher?
Τα παιδιά της δασκάλας αυτής.
Okay, but you know the general position that goes in when you say this teacher, for example. So there's no reason to change that when you're working through, to change the order. So how do you say this teacher? This teacher.
Αυτή η δασκάλα.
Αυτή η δασκάλα. So that can get all muddled around when you're working out what's doing what in your mind, but the order's going to stay the same.
Τα παιδιά αυτής της δασκάλας.
Good. Τα παιδιά αυτής της δασκάλας. Very good. And the children of that female teacher?
Τα παιδιά εκείνης της δασκάλας.
Τα παιδιά εκείνης της δασκάλας. Γυναίκα was woman. Γυναίκα.
Γυναίκα.
How would you say, the child of this woman is so good? So, the child of this woman.
Το παιδί αυτής της γυναίκας.
Very good. Το παιδί αυτής της γυναίκας is so good. For so, we can use τόσο. Τόσο.
Τόσο.
Is so good.
Είναι τόσο καλό.
Good. Το παιδί αυτής της γυναίκας είναι τόσο καλό. The word for like amazing or wonderful is καταπληκτικό. Καταπληκτικό, which is fun to say. Καταπληκτικό.
Καταπληκτικό.
Good. So imagine you come across this word. What's the first thing you do when you look at it? If it's a new word,
You can break it up.
you have a look if you see.
You can see parts that you recognize.
Okay.
The beginning is a bit like kato.
Exactly. Kata, no? And kato becomes kata many times when it's creating vocabulary, like in καταλαβαίνω, κατάλογος. So we just notice that. And then the only thing that's new is πληκτικό, not καταπληκτικό. So how would you say the toy of this child is amazing?
Το παιχνίδι αυτό του παιδιού είναι καταπληκτικό.
Good. But αυτό του παιδιού?
Αυτού του παιδιού. Το παιχνίδι αυτού του παιδιού είναι καταπληκτικό.
Very good. Το παιχνίδι αυτού του παιδιού είναι καταπληκτικό. Good.